guys, and welcome to Tech and More Tech. Today we're going to take a look at the Apple Watch Series 4. When the Apple Watch came out in 2015, it promised a lot. It was going to be your new health and fitness tracker. It was going to come up with new ways to communicate with friends and family. You could use it to pay for your groceries, and it could even navigate you everywhere. Well, these promises were technically fulfilled. The first generation Apple Watch was just too slow to really be used for anything except for telling the time and looking for notifications. Every year they've refined the Apple Watch little by little. Last year they added LTE. The year before that they added complete waterproofing. This year, they're promising even more than ever before, and this year, they're really fulfilling these promises. This year's Apple Watch Series 4 looks almost exactly like the previous designs. There are a few subtle differences that distinguish the new Series 4 from the previous models. They've made the case ever so slightly taller and wider, but also a little bit thinner too. So now your new sizes are 40mm and 44mm. Thankfully, all of the previous Apple Watch bands are fully compatible with the new sizes. Thanks to the mildly redesigned case, we now have a gorgeous edge-to-edge screen on the Apple Watch. It has curved corners just like the iPhone X. The previous Apple Watch screens were pretty good on their own merit, but compared to the new one, they look really outdated. The screens are approximately 30% larger than before, so what that means is the new 40mm watch has a bigger screen than the outgoing 42mm watch. Not only does it look much more modern and sleek, it's also used really well with some new watch faces. The most prominent new watch face is called Infograph. It's the one you see in all the commercials, and it can show up to 8 complications. Some watch faces take up the whole screen just to look cool, like the flame, water, and smoke effects. Side note, these watch faces were made with practical effects. Check out that video down below. One criticism I have is not all the complications have been updated to work on the new watch faces as well. The Home app complication, for example, only works with the old watch faces. And as a smart home user, this is a bit of a bummer. Hopefully both Apple and developers will update their complications to work with all of the watch faces. There's still no always on screen, unfortunately, which means you have to raise your watch to your face in order for it to tell you the time. 90% of the time, this is fine. However, there's definitely moments like when you're typing, for example, and your wrist is kind of already there, that it requires a really unnatural movement for it to activate. Surely it wouldn't take a lot of battery just to have a small printout of the time. I'm happy to report that battery life is excellent on the new watch. I can get 2 full days out of a charge, and that's with a 1-hour workout in there and tinkering with the watch throughout the day. Moving away from the screen, on the left-hand side we have the all-new speaker that's much louder and clearer than before, and is genuinely great for making a phone call or using the walkie-talkie feature. The microphone is moved to the right now, and it's nested between the digital crown and the side button. The side button now sits perfectly flush with the body, and the digital crown has a bunch of updates to it. First off, it's connected to the taptic engine in the watch, so now when you scroll up and down through a menu, you get a nice little satisfying click every time. They've also gotten rid of the shiny red bit over the digital crown that indicated the LTE models. It's been replaced with a subtle red ring, and the non-LTE models just have a regular black ring. The back of the watch is now all ceramic for better wireless connectivity. The new back casing, along with other sensor additions, allows for the Series 4 watch to perform an EKG. By placing your index finger on the digital crown, you can perform an EKG. Unfortunately, at this time, this feature is still unavailable, so I wasn't able to test it. On the inside of the watch is an all-new custom S4 processor, which delivers up to 50% faster speeds than the previous watches. There's also a new W3 wireless chip, which basically just adds Bluetooth 5.0. They've also updated the accelerometer and the gyroscope to now have fall detection. Basically, if you slip, trip, or fall, the Apple Watch will detect it, and if you don't move within 1 minute, it will call emergency services and call emergency contact. For whatever reason, this feature is turned off for any user that's under the age of 65, so you manually have to go into the settings and turn it on. And with a new watch, we get a new OS. This year, we're on watchOS 5. And much like the watches, it's much more evolutionary rather than revolutionary. The activity and fitness aspect of the Apple Watch is something that Apple pretty much nailed from the start. You can now create activity competitions with your friends and family, and it'll work basically. You get points for the percentage of the activity rings that you close. watchOS 5 will also detect your workouts now, so in case you forget to start it, it'll notice, it'll record everything that you're doing and give you credit for it anyways. And then there's the walkie-talkie feature. Technically, it's a glorified FaceTime audio call, but who cares? I quite like it.
Hey, how's it going?
You add a contact that has an Apple Watch, and then you press the big yellow talk button, and it'll send a recording to them. Once they accept it and talk back, it becomes an open line of communication. You might be asking yourself, why not just make a phone call? It's a great question. The answer is because no one likes to make phone calls. Personally, I see this more of a prompt way of texting. The drawback to the walkie-talkie feature is you have to press the button every time you want to talk. So if your hands are full for whatever reason, you just have to use your nose and hope that no one looks at you. Speaking of talking to your watch, There's that voice we're all familiar with but don't talk to that much. And I'm not talking about your grandma that you never call. Call your grandma. I'm talking about Siri. Siri was given a voice last year with watchOS 4. She's loud and clear when she answers you. The key word in that sentence was when. You no longer have to say to get it to activate. You can now just bring the wrist right up to your face and start talking. This alone is a really great feature.
What's the football score?
But I found that I have to get my wrist really close to my face before it starts listening to me. Lastly, notifications have been updated to be more similar to like they are on your phone, where the same app will stack and stuff like that. This year's Apple Watch is the most substantial upgrade that we've had so far. Through the aggregation of all the different updates that they've done to the Apple Watch, you can say that the Apple Watch Series 4 is the best watch that you can buy. And that brings us to the golden question. Should you buy the Apple Watch Series 4? In short, yes. Yes, you should. The Apple Watch Sport without LTE starts at $399 for the 40mm and $429 for the 44mm. If you want LTE on the Sport model, you just have to add an extra $100 to that. The stainless steel models start at $699 and $729 for the same sizes, and they also come in a nice new gold finish. If you bought an Apple Watch Series 3 last year, you'd be kicking yourself for not holding out one more year. If you can justify the price and get a good deal on your used Series 3 Apple Watch, I would say even just the screen alone is a worthy upgrade for this year. If you've been waiting for the right Apple Watch to buy or to upgrade to from a previous Apple Watch, this is the one to get. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll get to them as best I can. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for plenty more content to come. Until next time, see ya.